Welcome to the Leading Owls podcast, brought to you by Rice University's Door Institute for New Leaders. Each week, we bring you inspiring stories and practical tips from successful student leaders, faculty, and staff, along with leadership experts and coaches that will help guide you in your own leadership journey.
In this episode of the Leading Owls podcast, we're joined by Ellie Yoon, a freshman from Will Rice College studying cognitive science and AI. She is interested in doing engineering design, and most importantly of all, she makes custom Rice merchandise. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, Rice University. I'm your host, Hong Lin, and welcome to the Leading Owls podcast. Right now, we're going to have a brand new episode with our special guest here, Ellie Yoon. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. I am Ellie. I am a freshman at Will Rice College.
And then we're going to be joined by a special co-host here, Paige. Do you want to say hi?
Hello, I'm Paige Mathis-Pierce. I'm a senior at McMurtry. I am a co-lead ambassador for the Door Institute, and I'm really happy to be with y'all today.
Perfect. Okay, let's jump straight right into our first few questions. You dove into campus involvement right away from Rice Apps to the first year leadership cohort. So what drew you to take on so many leadership adjacent roles early on?
Well, honestly, I've always wanted to go into entrepreneurship as a kid. My dad started his own business when I was around 5 or so. So I watched him start from the ground up, working in the garage, packing boxes and whatnot. So that really inspired me to pursue entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship, as you guys probably know, is all about leadership. We're managing not just our own business, but probably a team of people as well. So leadership is something I've always wanted to pursue. For the Door leadership cohorts, I found out about that during email over the summer. And I went to Stan during O Week that they hosted, and I figured it would a really good opportunity. I applied, I got accepted, and I'm in here now. Same story with Rice Apps. Found out about them during the summer, went to the club fair, applied, and here I am.
Nice. Was there kind of like a moment that you felt like, yes, I belong in these spaces, even as a freshman?
I would say mostly it's just the fact that Rice really encourages students to take advantage of any opportunities there are, whether that's clubs, store, research, internships. So it's not necessarily like a moment that clicked for me. It's just a feeling I've had ever since I commit here that if I'm going to Rice, I'm going to take advantage of all the opportunities I have here. Obviously, Rice is a great school. Why go to Rice if I'm not going to use these opportunities?
Exactly, for sure. So the next thing here is, what's a moment or event or an interaction that you kind of captured the spirit of what Will Rice is like?
Probably college night.
Mm-hmm.
We just had college nights a week or two ago. And obviously, I have friends from different colleges. So we were talking about our experiences. For example, I have a friend at Brown. He was talking about how everyone woke up, I'm talking about.
Yeah, yes.
He was telling me about how everyone woke up at 7 a.m. to go party. And I was like, you guys woke up so late. They woke us up at 6:30. They were in the hallways blasting music, banging on everyone's doors.
Oh, yeah.
And it just completely brought me back to a week when they did the exact same thing, except I think they woke us up at 5 a.m. that time. So I think it's just the spirit and community of Will Rice. And I think college night that day really brought me back to the feeling of it.
Yeah, of course. So how has that been part of the environment, kind of shaped up the kind of leader or creator you want to be on campus?
Not just Will Rice, but Rice as a whole is a very collaborative, caring community. Everyone here wants to help each other. I came from a very competitive high school. So honestly, coming not just to Rice, but classes in general, Southern hospitality, it was definitely a big change for me. And I really want to embody that change. I don't want to be part of the very toxic environment I was in high school. I want to be the kind of person who's able to care about others, help them out when needed, and things like that. I just want to be someone people can go to for help.
Yeah, of course. And I'll pass this along to Paige for our next section.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's so inspiring. What was the first time you felt proud seeing someone wear something that you created?
So I created my Rice merch when I first committed to Rice. So this was back in April So about like a couple months ago, pretty recently actually. And obviously, I really wanted rice merch. I wanted to show off my school pride, but official rice merch was very expensive. And I just so happened to run a high school merch shop at my school. So we just designed custom merch for like clubs, events, things like that. So I already knew how to make it. And ever since junior year, when I started running that merch shop, I was like, I'm going to create my own merch whenever I commit to college. So that's how I got started. There's a freshman Instagram group chat. I'm following a lot of people on there. So I posted my design on the group chat and also on my story once I had it, like, of me wearing it and whatnot. And so many people messaged me like, where did you get that? Can I get one too? Made my design on the grab cap, which is insane. They just sent me pictures like, hey, this is my grab cap. I used your design. But so many people were messaging me asking to buy it. So I was like, you know what? I mean, there's obviously demand for it. I know how to do it. So might as well continue my high school merch journey into college as well. I remember one time I was walking, I don't know what building it is. It's a building kind of near the Compound 40 building. Brockman Hall, that's the building. It's near Brockman Hall. And I was just walking from west to go to class, and there's this person just wearing this t-shirt I made. Because out in public, I had absolutely no clue who they were. I mean, I'd probably seen them before because they bought it from me, but I don't remember them at all. And I was like, wow, people are actually wearing this. Like, the same thing happened 2 days ago at SIBO. I was just getting my food, and this person was just wearing my thing. I was so tempted to walk up to them and be like, hey, very nice sweatshirt you got there. Cool. I did not have too much social anxiety to do that. I should sometime do that though. But it's really funny to see people wearing it, especially since I've probably sold only about 200 or so. So it's like it's a decent number, but not that much. So it's really cool to see people going out and about wearing it.
So between running your high school merch shop and now selling custom rice merch, you've had a real entrepreneurial experience at a rather young age. So what's a decision or creative risk that you've taken that you're especially proud of?
I wouldn't say it's one decision in particular, rather a series of decisions or of like more of a way I think, I guess. So I think for me, I'm the kind of person who's like, might as well try everything out. I mean, if I get rejected, so be it. If it doesn't work out, so be it. Because it's like, you miss 100% of shots you don't take, right? And it's really funny because I feel like a lot of the really big things I've done in my life I'm proud of completely started as an accident. For example, for the high school merch shop, this was part of the DECA club at my school. And they had an idea for it, but to like start this merch shop, but they had no one to run it. They had no one at all to do anything. So I was like, I know some graphic design. I will volunteer to be designer. And because no one else volunteered, I ended up running the entire thing myself. And we managed to officially compete in DECA and got top 20 internationally. So if you told my junior yourself, yeah, like you volunteering to design a couple times for a random merch shop would lead to you placing top 20 internationally in a competition, I would be like, that does not sound right. Again, same thing with the merch I'm making here at Rice. I did not plan to sell it when I first made it. I only really made it for myself, my family, and a few friends. But now I'm selling it to like everyone. I've had like freshmen buy it, seniors buy it, alumni buy it. I've had admission officers buy it. So it's definitely expanding slowly but surely. So I would say it's, not a decision I made, but just the mindset that I might as well go for anything and see where it takes me.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thinking about like moments you may or may not have like taken a risk in your business, was there a moment when you thought the risk wouldn't pay off, or how did you push through any moments like that?
I think a big moment was the first time I was preparing for art market. I ordered about $1,000 worth of materials. So for these t-shirts, just like quick process of how I make it, I ordered the shirts individually, and then there's a print I make. I use something called DTF transfer, so it's direct to film, and I have a big machine to do it as well. I knew there's a demand for it based on how many people were asking me for it, but I didn't know how big the demand was. So I ordered about $1,000, and there's just these like 2-3 boxes sitting in my room of just t-shirts. I remember the day before Archie Market, I was terrified. Like, what if I don't sell out? What if no one likes it? Spoiler alerts, I did sell out. I ran out actually, so I ended up buying more. I think that was the biggest fear I had, that I just wasted $8,000. And obviously that did not happen. I now have expanded. I basically put all the money I got from the first Archie Market into the next one. And now I have about 6 boxes worth of materials sitting in my room. So thank you to my roommate who's putting up with that. Our room is basically a factory now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll take over for the next part of it. So kind of going along with that, tell me a time where something didn't go as planned, whether that be in your merch things, your Rice Apps project, or anything within your engineering course team. How did you handle that setback and what did you take away from it?
Ooh, that's a hard one because honestly, there are so many different setbacks I could face. Yeah, let's go with like the merchant again, Archie Market. Turns out, okay, so DTF transfer, just a bit more info about that. Back in high school, we had a very expensive machine to do it. It's like $1,000, I think, so very professional heat press. But I did read online that you could use a iron to do it, just like a normal clothes iron.
Yeah.
So that's what I did for my first Archie Market because obviously I did not have the budget for $8,000 heat press, especially after already spent $8,000 on raw materials. So what I ended up doing is I went to Sid, stole their iron from their laundry room.
No way.
I'm sorry, Sid. I did return this iron event. There was an iron in Will Rice, and I heard there's one in Sid, so I just went in. I didn't have the keys left to get into the laundry room, so I just waited till someone left and I stole their iron.
No.
And then I spent the next like 5 hours in my room just ironing the transfer song. But long story short, iron does not work very well. It does technically work, but it takes about like 20 minutes for each shirt. The quality is not very high. It was terrible. So after the first Archie Market, I ran over and got myself a nice heat press. Not as good as the one in high school, but I got one that's like $350. So still a decent amount, but much better than an iron. And I remember I had so many really bad prints I had from when I was using the iron. Like some were the designs were peeling off, some were the designs were like miscolored, things like that. And I had no clue what to do with them because I had like 10 or 20 of those. So I ended up just going to Archie Market, selling them at a discount. Those also ran out. Like I've had ones where entire letters were missing. Like usually the shirt you're wearing is like the word rice, you know? I've had ones where like entire letter were missing and people were still scrambling to buy it, which was absolutely insane. I'll take it. I mean, that's why I don't have any more misprints anymore. People just buy them anyways.
Yeah. So looking back, would you approach that moment kind of like differently from now?
Honestly, no. I mean, okay, well, if I had to go back, I would probably buy the heat press I have now off the bat. So I did not spend all those hours ironing them on.
Yeah.
But assuming I went back to a period where I already had all those misprints, I would have done the same thing about selling them at a discount because obviously people like them. A lot of them actually prefer the misprints because maybe the misprints were really small, but like small enough you would not notice unless you look for it, but big enough that I would feel uncomfortable selling them at full price. So a lot of people really love them, and obviously it got rid of my inventory and I still made like a $1 profit on them. So better than nothing.
Oh my God, that's so cool. I know that like I've seen some of these misprints before. I think people like them as kind of like a vintage, like they're kind of like on purpose, I guess, or something like that. But yeah, limited edition. Exactly. That's right. So kind of like going on the flip side of it. So you did say you held some significant leadership roles even before coming to Rice. What was the most important lesson you've learned about leading people at a young age?
In terms of leading people, in not just like in leadership, but in life in general, we have to be very flexible because unfortunately, things will never go as planned. I feel like it is so rare for something I pursue to go exactly as planned. Something will go wrong, something will change course, and I just have to be flexible and take it in stride and be like, okay, this happened. Let's pivot and figure out what to do next.
Mm-hmm. So how did that kind of early experience kind of shape the way that you are right now?
it definitely gave me, well, like I said, like flexibility. For example, and with all the misprints I had, instead of panicking, just throwing them in a trash, which would be a very big waste of not just money, but like perfectly good clothing as well. It allowed me to think out of the box, to be able to solve creative problems, even if there were solutions that I originally would not have planned to take. And sometimes it works out better than expected. Like for the misprints, some people love them. So yeah, I think it's just being open-minded and flexible.
Kind of the next section here is kind of like from Rice Apps to kind of like your engineering design class. Like you work on a lot of like collaborative, high pressure team environments. So what have you learned about like building trust from other people and with like people who think or work differently from you?
Communication, 100%, just have strong communication, because I believe communication is one of the most important aspects of working in a team. You never know what others are thinking. You can't expect them to read your mind, obviously. I remember when I was younger, my parents used to always tell me, like, I sometimes talk to others, assuming that they know everything I do, and I try to like speed through the process. So I really had to learn to teach myself to like slow down, make sure I'm communicating effectively. People will know what I'm thinking. I know what they're thinking, and we can work through problems together if we're all on the same page.
That's awesome. And just to follow up to that, is there a moment when team you're part of surprised you by coming together in an unexpected way?
I would probably say this would be my EDS 120 course. So for those who don't know, EDS 120 is an engineering design course where you take on a project from a real client and you get put in groups of around like 4 to 5 people. And you don't know these people beforehand. You don't really choose your partners. You choose a project, they put you sort of the project, you have your teammates, and you just roll with it. And even though I think originally my EDS 120 team and I was like, okay, we're going to be professional, we're going to work on this project, and just like, I don't know, just work on it, I guess. But I think there's times when we really bonded over late night sessions, like studying or working on a presentation together, or even just complaining about the class. The class could be very exhausting at times. So I was very glad that we were able to get along, because I think that's one thing I was worried about, that I would get a team member who I absolutely hated. Okay, even if that happened, I would figure out a way to work with them, obviously. But I'm glad that did not happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming back to your experience at Will Rice, what's one event or tradition or small like community ritual that you think genuinely brings people together and makes the college feel like home?
I think personally, it would be some of the weird quirks we have. I think a big one is Will Rice is known as a college who has the only college that has ever swept, you know. And Will Rice will sweep, okay. So even from O Week, they emphasize that a lot. Like every day during lunch, we have people practicing chugging. We do a countdown of how many more days left into a beer bike. Obviously, I'm a freshman, so I haven't experienced beer bike myself. I'm really excited to see how it plays out, though. Very excited to see how Will Rice especially does it. But I think that's something that really brings us together. We're the college that's the most hated because we're the only college that has swept. Therefore, we're the best college. Okay, I don't care if I'm transferred to Chow next year. I still love Will Rice. I will always love Will Rice. So yeah, it's just our entire beer bike culture, I guess.
Why do you think those small traditions matter so much for campus life in general?
Well, it's kind of like what people advertise about Rice, about how the residential colleges in general are kind of like Hogwarts houses or like fraternities and sororities, but better. And I think I really enjoy the aspect of it because it gives you a kind of like community, a home, even if you're not home. Like I come from Seattle, so I am very far away from home, but coming into OE with all these like weird traditions and whatnot, I really felt like I belonged here, even though it was my first time going to college, obviously, my first time going to a place where I knew, oh, not first time, but one of the first times I went to a place where I knew absolutely no one. And especially O Week, it really helped bond me not only to the community here, but the college as a whole.
Yeah, that's so nice. So we're going to go into our last section, main section here. So this will kind of be more about like the vision you're going to have and what legacy you're going to leave here. So kind of like as someone who sees like leadership as making kind of like a positive impact, what kind of mark do you hope to leave at Rice, whether through entrepreneurship, whether through tech, or whether through community work?
Yeah, so I definitely don't expect to be like the most famous person at Rice. Realistically, after I graduate, most people will forget about me. But I do hope that while I'm here, I leave some kind of impact that people will know me, not as like, I don't know, I don't want to be known as a student who has her nose in her book like 24/7 studying, not doing anything. But I want to do something that would leave some kind of impact. I feel like I already started on that somewhat with the merch because it's really funny. Sometimes I'll be walking around campus and someone will find me and be like, hey, you're the girl who makes this Snoopy shirt. Yes, I am. And I'll feel so bad because I don't know who they are.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's kind of a good sign that more people know me than I know them because I guess it means I'm starting to leave some kind of impact. It's also like you have your article written about you about like all the football games you go to. So I kind of, well, not to be like too flattered or whatever, I kind of feel inspired to be like you.
Oh, thank you.
Where you're not like, okay, obviously you're not going to be some super big celebrity, but you're respected, you're well known, and people obviously like you. So I kind of hope to be like you after I graduate.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was so meaningful, and thank you for the shout out as well. So, kind of following up with that. So, like when you think about like the legacy at this stage, what does that word actually mean to you?
What does the word legacy mean to you?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is kind of similar to what I said before about leaving some kind of positive impact, some kind of way where that people recognize you, not just as a student, but as someone outside other than just a normal student at Rice.
Mm-hmm. So you already shown kind of initiative as both kind of a leader and an entrepreneur. So what advice would you give to like other freshmen who wants to pursue like big ideas, but kind of feel intimidated or unsure where to start?
Honestly, I would say go for it. Like, the worst that happens is you get rejected. This is just a random story I just thought of, that you reminded me of. Back in high school, this was the summer before sophomore year. I was looking for internships because I was a tryhard. So I already had an internship at the time, but wanted another one because I don't know. But I really want to go into like product design. That's still something I want to pursue now, but anyone who's in that field will know that those kind of internships are very rare for high school students. So I ended up applying to a couple for college students. When I got accepted into one, I rejected them afterwards, which I did afterward, but I couldn't fit it into my schedule. Low-key, I mostly applied just to see if I could get in. But I think that kind of goes to show that you never know what's going to happen. Like, I was not even 10th grade at the time. I was the summer before 10th grade applying for a college internship and I got accepted. So I mean, if you don't go for it, you never know whether or not it'll work out.
Mm-hmm. So kind of on the same basis here, it's like, what's one lesson from kind of those experiences that kind of genuinely surprised you the most?
How willing people are to work with you if you reach out to them first. Because I think a lot of times people don't know these opportunities exist. You just have to go for it. For example, sometimes I'll like cold email people, ask for coffee chats. For example, the internship, even though coffee, like for college students, I just reached out anyways and got an interview, got the job. So people are more willing than you think to help you. You just have to ask them.
Nice. Perfect.
All right. Now for our final section, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. Okay. First question, what's your favorite thing about Will Rice?
I think the tight-knit community and really quirky traditions and cultures we have here.
All right. One word to describe your experience at Rice?
Open-ended. There's so many opportunities here.
All right. 3, your go-to study spot at Rice.
Honestly, I'm still exploring what study spots there are. I am a freshman, but so far I really like O'Connor, especially the upper floors by the big window.
Nice. 4, what's the best meal you've had at Siebel Servery?
Associates night, the one during O Week. It was very good. The desserts were okay. It was mostly the dessert type. Like, we had these really nice fruit tarts. We had like Dubai chocolate brownies or something. They were so good.
If you could change one thing about campus life, what would it be?
Honestly, I feel like we could potentially change the residential college culture to be slightly more like Hogwarts houses. Like, I know we have intramural competitions, but I feel like most students don't really get into it. And then we have like sister colleges and enemy colleges, and I honestly don't even know much about those because it's not really a thing outside of O Week.
And the final one, What is your go-to drink at House?
I'm still exploring the drinks, but I'm not a big caffeine person, so I'd have to say maybe the strawberry banana smoothie.
Ooh, nice. Thank you all so much for coming along to this episode. As always, thank you for the listeners to listening to this episode, and we'll see you in our next episode. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for joining us for the Leading Owls podcast. We will be back next week with more leadership journeys and tips to share. New episodes release each Wednesday. For more information on the Door Institute for New Leaders and our free leader development programs for Rice students, please visit door.rice.edu.